What if the fate of the next Lakers dynasty hinges not on star power or flashy trades, but on a quiet, almost invisible chess move lurking under the radar? What if the whispers you hear in the shadows of the NBA offseason hold more weight than the headlines screaming about superstars or blockbuster deals? Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where raw truth meets purple and gold passion. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a second of this drama. Today, folks, we're diving deep into a story that feels like a hidden gambit in Rob Pelinka's evolving playbook, one that could shift the entire Lakers landscape without the thunderous roar of a typical trade. The spotlight? A two-time All-Star center whose name isn't often shouted in the same breath as LeBron or Davis, but whose impact, if acquired, could rewrite how we view the Lakers' rebuild and next championship pursuit. I'm talking about Nikola Vucevic, the versatile big man currently tangled in the uneasy web of the Chicago Bulls' off-season maneuvers. Multiple reports, spearheaded by Jake Fisher and others, suggest the Bulls may release Vucevic if they can't land a trade, opening a curious window for the Lakers. Now, this isn't your typical acquisition rumor. There's complexity, there's risk, and most importantly, there's an unusually strategic approach pending on trade structures and salary cap gymnastics. Lakers Nation has seen this script before. Smart moves in the buyout market, like snatching Marcus Smart and DeAndre Ayton, have reshaped expectations, and now Vucevic could be the next piece sliding in almost under the radar. But right here is where things get thorny. To take him on, the Lakers face tough choices. They're being urged to waive Gabe Vincent to clear space. But that's only half the chessboard. They might choose between swallowing $3.6 million in dead salary by waiving Vincent and Maxi Kleber and Kleba. Ugly but feasible option, or packaging those expiring contracts along with their lone second-round pick to execute a trade. Dead money versus valuable assets. Either way, a gamble on whether Vucevic's floor and ceiling justify these sacrifices. It's a delicate balancing act to trust in the value of a player who, while offensively versatile and one of the few centers in the league who can hit threes at nearly 40%, remains a defensive liability, something the Lakers can't afford to ignore given their historical struggles guarding the paint. But wait, there's nuance here. Pairing him with Ayton might actually work. These are both solid double-double guys, durable and relentless on the boards. And when you combine them with a third center like Jackson Hayes, who provides more athleticism and pick-and-roll agility, you create a rotation with complementary skill sets. The Lakers front office and coaching staff have to wrestle with these huge open questions. Can they accept permissible defensive weaknesses for the offensive upside that Vucevic brings? Can they trust their perimeter defenders like Marcus Smart and perhaps a rejuvenated Bronny James or Jared Vanderbilt to cover the gaps quietly left in the paint? And beyond the hardwood, there's another player in this narrative pulling strings behind the scenes. Luka Doncic. Yes, the superstar phenom who's been dubbed the Lakers' new franchise cornerstone has already proven influential, having played a discreet but palpable role in recruiting players like Marcus Smart and DeAndre Ayton. Could Doncic's pull extend to convincing Vucevic to join the purple and gold? The whispers from insiders like Mark Stein suggest Doncic's commitment to the Lakers runs deep, and his influence in player decisions is more significant than many realize. To think that Doncic, who is reportedly on track for a massive extension, that, while not a supermax, ensures his long-term presence, might be the key to unlocking this deal adds layers of intrigue. So here the Lakers stand, armed with only one second-round pick to surrender, no better trade asset than Vucevic's undeniable talent, and a mountain of unanswered questions about fit, chemistry, and defensive identity. The starting five reportedly remain steady, with LeBron and Davis anchoring the squad, Marcus Smart potentially slotting in alongside them, and Austin Reaves orchestrating the second unit that has shown flashes of brilliance. Adding Vucevic, whether to slide him into starting minutes or to rotate him off the bench, promises boosts in offensive firepower and rebounding dominance. He leads all active players in 10 and minus 10 games. After all, but is the trade-off worth? The defensive risks? Will the Lakers double down on well-known soft spots, hoping to plug holes not with lockdown defenders at the rim, but with perimeter stoppers? Or will they gamble on reshaping their identity around this unique blend of talents? Numbers from last season tell us Vucevic put up nearly 18 points and 10 rebounds a night, balancing traditional center production with a lethal three-point shot, sinking nearly 4 threes per game at an outstanding 40% clip, his best shooting season ever. But defense? Not so promising. His blocks and steals lag behind, and given the Lakers' chronic defensive woes, this factor casts a long shadow over the potential acquisition. The Lakers have chased defensive wings, think Herb Jones, Andrew Wiggins sprinkled in veterans, like Marcus Smart, and banked on internal resurgence from pieces like Bronny, but come up short quietly when you consider the enduring defensive gaps. Add in Jared Vanderbilt, said to be in the best shape of his life, and there's hope, but is it enough? The stakes could not be higher for Pelinka's operation. To get Vucevic almost for free in buyout terms, or to surrender a pick, is a classic risk-reward scenario. If the Lakers can't snag a lockdown wing, does it make sense to settle for this all-star center who offers a rare offensive skill set for big men, especially for a team starved for paint spacing and rebounding? Or would doubling down on defense, even at the expense of some offensive fluidity, have been the wiser path? I don't hate the move, but I don't love it either. It's not an earth-shattering blockbuster, but it definitely fits the pragmatic mold that Pelinka has shaped these past few seasons. There's vulnerability here, too, since it forces us to reckon with the uncomfortable fact that sometimes adding a Tier 2 All-Star for minimal cost may be the optimal strategy when the true game changers, elite defensive wings, or supermax scorers are off the board or out of reach. ESPN's offseason grade reflects that tension, landing at a solid B, which recognizes the smart additions of Ayton, Smart, and others, but flags the enduring questions about LeBron's role and the team's ability to shore up that point of attack. Defense where they remain dangerously exposed. I lean towards a B+ because, yes, getting these players at this price point is undeniable value, but the Lakers' identity still feels incomplete. As a lifelong Lakers fan, I can't help but feel caught between hope and skepticism. Watching this franchise has meant enduring heartbreak, soaring with championship parades, and living through the quiet disasters no outside observer ever sees. But now, standing on the edge of what could be the new era, I ask myself whether these under-the-radar moves, these calculated risks, are the stepping stones to greatness, or simply a slow-fading echo of a once glorious past. So, is this the start of a new empire, meticulously assembled in the shadows of trade talks and buyout markets? Or is it the beginning of our unraveling under the weight of compromises and unmet expectations? Drop your take in the comments. I'll be reading every one. Listen up, Lakers Nation. This isn't a time for polite conversations or calm speculation. This is a full-throttle declaration from the heart of the purple and gold battlefield, where every moment feels like war. We're at a crossroads where every decision pulses through the very veins of this storied franchise, where LeBron's legacy hangs in the balance like a sword, suspended over a gladiator's head in the Coliseum of NBA immortality. Because here's the brutal truth. This isn't just about adding pieces or tweaking lineups. It's about LeBron James's final chapters as a Laker, about Anthony Davis carrying the silent, grueling burden of being the franchise's defensive cornerstone with no Hall of Famer to share that load beside him, about Bronny and Austin Reaves who represent the future and soul of this team beyond the stat sheets, beyond contracts, and beyond the cold financial calculus buzzing inside Rob Pelinka's encircled war room. Adding Nikola Vucevic is not a guaranteed slam dunk. It's a razor-sharp gamble that slices straight into the Lakers' identity, threatening to unravel the defense that's been the unhealed wound this entire era, a wound that's bled championships, and nearly killed us all after the euphoric bubble victory of 2020. that felt like a resurrection from the ashes of Kobe's tragic farewell and the long, weary rebuild that followed. But what if this acquisition, this quiet chess move, is Pelinka's genius unfolding? A secret weapon whispered among the ghosts of Showtime and the three-peat dynasty. A move that nobody saw coming, but that finally tilts the scales back toward purple and gold dominance? Picture this: LeBron, older but still unyielding, orchestrating a potent offense where Vucevic's deadly shooting stretches defenses so wide they snap in half under the pressure. Imagine a D, finally freed from having to single-handedly guard the rim in isolation, unleashed to attack with more freedom because the boards are no longer being lost to the chaos of weaker interior presence. Imagine Broncos and Austin leading a second unit that's not just a collection of spare parts, but a relentless, hungry outfit embodying the next chapter of Lakers' resilience with fire in their eyes and swagger in every pass. Now, flip that. Picture into a nightmare. What if Vucevic's defensive holes become chasms, exposing LeBron and AD to relentless exploitation, leaving them vulnerable in those crunch time moments that define legacies and turn heroes into fall guys? What if Jared Vanderbilt's claimed renaissance is just a flickering candle against the dark, and the perimeter defenders struggle to mask the interior rot, unraveling everything built on hope and hustle? Then there's the ripple effect rippling out across the West like a seismic shockwave in the NBA's fault lines. The Warriors, still clutching their dynasty dream tightly, will savage any sign of Lakers' weakness. Denver's juggernaut, led by the unstoppable Jokic, would pounce on any faltering. Phoenix's Paul George-era Clippers would circle like vultures eager to pick the carcass of a fractured Lakers empire. This isn't just a roster tweak. It's a direct challenge to the power balance in the West, a test of metal that could either break the Lakers or forge them anew in the crucible of relentless competition. And let's not sidestep the elephant in the room. The power struggle swirling like a storm behind closed doors in Lakeland Genie Bus, holding the reins with calculated precision, faces unprecedented pressure from potential billionaire disruptors who might snap up controlling interests and reshape the franchise's soul. What if this quiet offseason move signals an attempt to stabilize a franchise on the brink of seismic change? What if winning now is a bargaining chip? A final statement from the old guard that the Lakers' legacy isn't negotiable, that purple and gold is still a beacon capable of defying the rising tides? History courses through the veins of this franchise like blood through a warrior's heart. From the dawn of Showtime's dazzling fast breaks and Showtime showmanship, through the ruthless domination of the Shaq Kobe three-peat machine, to the raw, cathartic revenge thesis of the 2010 title, the soul-binding triumph in the 2020 bubble, where a grieving city found hope anew, and the maddening, painful decline that followed. Every era has carried its scars, its heartbreaks, and its moments of joy so immense they echo forever. And now, here we stand at another precipice, holding our breath and clutching tightly to the hope that the next great chapter will be penned in gold ink, not lost to the shadows of compromise and fading glory. But what if the Lakers' soul itself hangs in the balance, the embodiment of downtown LA pride, the embodiment of resilience, pride, and dreams in ways no stat sheet, no trade report, no analyst mock can fully capture? What if Vucevic's acquisition is less about winning this season and more about signaling a commitment to boldness, a whispered promise that the Lakers won't wilt quietly into the night, that they'll fight with everything they've got, however imperfect the pieces may seem? And while this story unfolds on the court, look at Bronny James, the emblem of Lakers' future, playing out a saga that feels ripped from the pages of a Hollywood script. Will he inherit this scarred, complex franchise and ignite it with a fresh fire, or will the weight of expectation crush the dreams we've attached to his ascent? Austin Reaves, the humble warrior who rose from the shadows, has become the embodiment of grit and heart, his rise inspiring purity amid the chaos, showing us that sometimes the most unexpected heroes emerge from the quietest corners. And what if LeBron James himself turns his twilight years into a masterclass of leadership and strategy, guiding this mosaic of talent through the darkest storms and brightest dawns. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the fans, earnest, passionate, and relentless, are caught in the ejector seat of possibility and peril. So here it is. As a Laker till the day I die, here's what I see coming. This offseason move is the thin line between rebirth and ruin. The fragile bridge over the abyss that only time and heartache, sweat and sacrifice will either solidify or shatter. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your rawest take below. Every true believer in purple and gold, because Lakers fans, this isn't just a team. This is a family bound by history, pain, and glory in the fight for tomorrows. Crown begins right now, in the trenches where the stakes are as real as the dreams we share.